Hello, folks. Shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another awesome video. It's Monday night. You know what that means? Time for some Raw. We're 2 weeks removed from one of the surprisingly best WrestleManias we've had in a long time, and 1 week removed from the incident now referred to as the Monday Night Massacre. So, how are they going to top one of the best WWE pay-per-views of the year after one of the best Raws of the year? Let's see what we got. First, Seth is in the ring, stating that the Authority is on vacation this week, and rightfully so after the awesomeness that was WrestleMania 31 or WrestleMania Play. Give him back the numbers, Vince. But anyway, Randy comes out and he starts talking some magnanimous shit, trolling the ever-loving hell out of them. The apex troller, as I call him, starts talking the ever-loving piss out of them. Then Kane, being the only authoritative figure we have, decides to direct some operations. And that tonight we would have a triple threat match to determine who would be the next #1 contender for Seth Rollins' title. It would be out of Roman Reigns, Ryback, and Randy Orton. Randy Orton's match would be against Kane, which would be the first match of the night. Short match, ended in a foobar with Kane using a chair and giving Randy the disqualification victory. He attempts to chokeslam Randy onto the chair, but Randy ain't having that shit. So Randy wins. Backstage, Seth is reading Kane the riot act, and we also get a Brad Maddox sighting. It's just weird, just a random Brad Maddox, just there. I don't know. Anyway, he starts talking some mad shit to Kane, talking about how he doesn't deserve to be director of operations and how he asked Steph and Trips to remove him. You're talking some bad shit, Seth. There's only one director of operations, that's Kane. So Kane does what he does best. He directs some operations, in which Seth has a match tonight. That match is against Adrian Neville. That's right, the man that gravity forgot in his second match on the main roster is facing off against the champion. This was an awesome match, and considering it's Adrian Neville versus Seth Rollins, the first ever NXT champion versus the longest reigning NXT champion. This was a nice back and forth matchup that showcased that Seth Rollins can still get it done in the ring, even though he's a smarmy coward, and against a very game Adrian Neville, or Neville as they're calling him. What's up with you, Vince, and removing these guys' names, just shortening them? You did it to Big E, you did it to Cesaro. Why are you doing it to Adrian Neville? Adrian sounds cool. So anyway, of course, Seth gets the win. You can't have your champion in his first match as a champion lose to a quote-unquote rookie. But it nevertheless makes Neville look like a very game character. So doesn't look before any of you people out there start saying, oh, they're jobbing him out because he's from NXT. No. If he was jobbing to someone like the Big Show or Kane or something like that after a squash match, you might have had a point. No, this was a highly competitive matchup that made both guys look strong. So yeah. Next up, John Cena comes out to announce that he would be doing his whole I'm going to defend my title every week for America. I'm not against this idea, but if John plans to come out and do these whole USA jingoistic patriotic speeches before every match, I'm going to get sick of it. We don't need to hear you say this shit, John. Just say you want to defend your title that happens to represent the United States of America. You don't have to go this extra mile, John. But anyway, last week's challenger was the longest reigning WWE US champion in recent memory, Dean Ambrose. Now, John faces Stardust, still channeling Mr. Sinister. This was also a good match. What I like about this is it's getting It's finally making the U.S. title seem important. I know I said that I didn't think that John Cena needed the title, but more like John Cena didn't need the title, but more the reverse is true, that the title needed John Cena. He's a 15-time world champion. They need to make that belt seem just as important, as more so than when Rusev was holding it. And this whole defend the title every week thing not only gives the belt more credence, but also gives the mid card something to do, get them to showcase their skills. And this showcased Stardust's abilities. I've said it before that Cody Rhodes is an unsung talent. He is a magnificent in-ring competitor. And we also get to see again that springboard stunner that Cena debuted at WrestleMania. Needless to say, Cena won over. So kudos to you. Next up, we have a Divas match. Before that, we have the commentators. Mind you, I forgot to say that JBL and Booker are back with sans Michael Cole, since Michael Cole is in hell with Chris Jericho. And Byron Saxton is in there. Now, I will say Byron Saxton does an okay job, but it just felt like the commentary was a little bit slower tonight. You could tell that Byron was out of his element tonight, that he's not used to commentating the big shows. So the chemistry wasn't there between the three of them. You could tell it was a little off. But Divas match, a tag team match between the Bellas, don't care, against Paige, I do care, and Naomi, I don't care. It's hard for me, and I'm not going to be one of those guys and say that Nikki and Brie are terrible. They're not terrible. They're okay in the ring. They have gotten better. The problem is I just don't care about them. They are just the same cookie-cutter divas that we've always seen and known. They just look, and there's no individuality about them other than the fact that one is named Nikki and one is named Brie. But yeah, it was an okay match up until when Naomi got in the ring. I don't like Naomi. And she looked very sloppy in the ring. She botched a lot of moves. The only move she could seem to get right was the rear view, and I have expressed my dislike of the rear view in previous videos. I think it's a terrible move and that she should not be doing it. I mean, Nikki and Brie have better finishers than the rear view. And that says something. So she goes for this new move. I'm not sure what to call it. I don't think they got a name for it. And it's certainly better than the rear view, but she fucked it up. And I didn't like that ending. Next up, we have tag team action between the New Day and the new tag team on the main roster, the Lucha Dragons. Now, before this match happened, the New Day addressed the fact that the fans have turned against them. And we saw a little bit of a heelish edge in which they say, we clap or we snap. And I like this. I'm actually getting interested in it because it says, hey, we have to keep clapping or else we're going to fucking kill someone. I like this. And I also liked in this match, this was a good tag team match for both teams. I also like the fact that it was showing some heelish qualities to the New Day in the way they act at the ring. So they're showing more development in their characters. I hope this actually develops into a proper heel turn because as faces, they kind of fucking suck. So needless to say, the team of the Lucha Dragons pick up the win. Very solid match. If I'm going out of order, please forgive me. Next up, the second of our three number one contender one-on-one matches, I guess, pits Ryback against Luke Harper. Sadly, because of what he did last week, we have no Titty Master on this show. Breaks my heart. But yeah, Luke Harper and Ryback pulled an okay match. Nothing too terrible, but nothing that you're going to write home about. Ryback wins. Move on. What else is next? Next time I should take notes. I'm sorry, but it's a little warning. I have a bit of a headache. Well, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, my teeth were kind of jacked up, so it gives me headaches. So if I'm not remembering anything correctly, it's because of my headaches. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to get that fixed, but money. But anyway, what next? I'm trying to remember. We also get a promo by the Primetime Players. I love the Primetime Players, and I like that they've come in. Last week they made fun of the New Day. This week they ripped into the Ascension, and it's just I just love the New Day. I just love the Primetime Players. You can tell they've been a tag team they're the longest running tag team, even though they broke up and they came back together. They gelled once again to become a charismatic and entertaining tag team. And the fact that these two have never been WWE champion is a crime in itself. And I hope that with the introduction of the Lucha Dragons, that we can have more tag teams. We can have more interesting tag teams come up, as well as the Primetime Players getting a tag team title shot and getting the belts one day. Millions of dollars, millions of dollars, millions of dollars. There you go. Next up is the last of our triple threat one-on-one number one contender title match things. It's for the 3,586th time, Roman Reigns versus the Big Show. I didn't want to shit on Roman Reigns anymore because I don't find shitting on Roman. A lot of people shit on Roman Reigns because it's the popular thing to do. I don't like shitting on Roman Reigns. I just don't like the way his pushes are handled. And this match does not handle. The fact of the matter is they've had this match God knows how many times in the past year. And JBL and Booker T all pretend like it's just this big major event. They've had this match many times before. It's the same fucking match. Sorry, I don't want to hate on them, but unfortunately we've seen this match thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times before. And it also is very telling that Big Show and Roman Reigns both have the same finishers. The spear and a punch. This match was not very good at all. And I can see why JBL and a lot of people, and they want to make us try to make us forget that these two have had feuds in the past, because the matches have just been so abysmal. At most, they have been average. At worst, they have just been wastes of time. And Roman Reigns wins. I want to move on. So backstage, catty bitches do catty bitch shit for a right to face Nikki Bella for her title. Next up, Sheamus comes out and talks about how he's going to crush all these little guys because real men are not little. When Mark Henry comes out, they have a match. Mark Henry jobs. Sheamus wins. Moving on. And now we move on to the main event. Roman Reigns, Ryback, Randy Orton for the number one contendership to face Seth Rollins at Extreme Rules. This was an okay match. Okay, nothing is spectacularly bad, but nothing incredibly good. The Authority comes out, and because it's a triple threat match, there's no DQ, so there's shenanigans and interference everywhere. Roman Reigns gets knocked the fuck out by the Big Show, and Ryback gets pinned by Randy Orton, making Randy Orton the new number one contender, but only gets beaten up by Seth Rollins. So there's that. Overall, it started out good, but then it just slid. It started out to what was left off from last week, where it was kind of hype. Then it just kind of slid back into the Raws of the past, just doing the same thing over and over again. Wasn't bad, it was just tiresome. I was hoping they would keep the momentum from last week, but unfortunately, no. If I didn't have a headache, this one would have made me go to sleep. So stick around for the first couple of matches, but then afterwards you can skip the whole thing. It's too predictable, so you could see it coming. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Raw. Like what you see? Link, comment, subscribe below. Got any questions or comments? Leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you. And also, as a side effect, I don't want to sound like I'm begging or anything like that, but it would be very much appreciated if you could click one of the advertisements, get some revenue going, because as you can see, I really need the extra cash just so I can get my teeth fixed. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed it. So until next time, this is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, saying good night, and we're sliding backwards.